All right, let's shit on some nines.
Why would you do that?
Because they're the worst.
I think that's maybe all we do in this podcast.
Yeah, guarantee
Oh, man.
that if you tune in, your nine will be abused. Just, oh, we're gonna go out, but I'm too sleepy to go out.
Oh, yeah. That's a big one. My head hurts. I sprained my ankle. I ate too big of a lunch, you know.
The Big Hormone Enneagram.
Hi, I'm John Lukovich, sexual self-pres over the 5-wing 458 trifix.
Hi, I'm David Gray, self-pres sexual 9 with a 1, 974 trifix.
What up? It's Emeka. I'm an 8-wing 7, sexual self-pres with 854 fixes.
Hi, I'm Nancy. I am a self-pres social 3, wing 4, with a 369 trifix. If you like our podcast, guys, make sure you go like and subscribe on the Apple Podcast app. And if you really like us, you should definitely leave us a review.
It's Big Hormone Enneagram, and we want to welcome all our hate listeners. So whether you are a Christian homeschool mom who is into the Enneagram and stumbled on us, whether you're a professional or certified Enneagram teacher or author who is scoping out why our material is better than everything else, or if you're someone who's burned because they paid Emeka and David for a type evaluation and didn't like the results, we see you, we hear you, we welcome you, we acknowledge you. Welcome. Today we are talking about relationships and what the worst parts of dating the types are. But first, David and I both have some plugs. Like I have a class, online class I'm doing for the Shift Network's Enneagram Global Summit for 2020. I was asked to teach about the centers of intelligence and the types, how they spring from the centers, with Gail Scott, she used to teach for the Enneagram Institute. So sign up. It would help me if you signed up through a link that hopefully we'll have in the show description, because if you sign up through that link, I get some money for it, and I desperately need money. And yeah, if you were thinking of any Enneagram Christmas gifts, look to one of us to do a session with somebody or yourself or something. And finally, please donate if you're enjoying the pod, if you feel inclined, to bhepodcast@gmail.com on PayPal. And then David's got a thing.
Yeah, I'm focusing more diligently lately on finishing my book. Made some good headway. Got at least a couple hundred pages of notes and images and graphics and things going on right now. And I've set up a Patreon site to support my work. It's patreon.com/Ennea site. Ennea like Enneagram and site like website. I'm withholding the name of the book because that's one of the levels on my Patreon is
That's right.
the book title gets revealed. The book title is so good that you have
gotta
to
pay.
pay to find out what the title is.
That's how you do it.
Yeah. But it'll be, the book is going to be, my abstract elemental focus and archetypal symbols, and mostly it's in abstract outer space, but appreciate the support.
Those of you who know the collage exercise that we do in Enneagram or Universe, it's based on the ideas in this book. And so a lot of times people don't understand what the fuck is going on with the collage exercise. But to get the underpinnings of what's going on, it's, all those ideas are in the book David's writing. And of course, he's got a video series explaining it, but maybe people are going to appreciate it in writing more with diagrams that really, make it hit home.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I also want to add, like, it's not just the collage exercise, but it's also like David's been hitting the internet for a while, and there's just a lot of shit that's floating around in the internet that's not credited to David. That's like either from David or inspired by David's thoughts. And so, being able to have a book of his that's like a concentration of his contribution, is pretty fucking cool.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, guys. Yeah, that's the other thing I'm doing with this, is making sure to gather kind of all of those things and get them, with my name literally copyrighted on them. So yeah.
One more thing, we've got a big hormone love line. We got a phone number. It's 323-696-0647. You can call that number, leave a voicemail, send a text for all your love and sex related questions, comments, whatever. Again, it's 323-696-0647.
All right. Where do we want to begin? Maybe we should talk about what it's like dating eights.
You're gonna start with eights.
I want to start with eights. Listeners, we deleted some of the behind the scenes look provided by OD and Emeka himself about Emeka's dating style or style, which
It's not safe for
too hot
the
for TV, but
not safe for the world.
hilarious.
Can't. I mean, there's no format that I can share that publicly.
No. Yeah. What's the shittiest things about dating an eight?
Well, I'm gonna try to shit on myself. Let's try that.
Let's do it.
I would say I think one of the things that I've said about especially as a sexual aid, because this is the zone that I'm looking for the most leverage. So the ugliest aspects of my personality and the ways that I try to control things are in this attraction zone. And as you guys know, much of my obsession with trying to strategize and figure out the factors of attraction is about trying to control attraction. I'm not just doing this because it's just interesting. I'm trying to, have in a way, try to preempt rejection by knowing that, she might be interested in me, not just because I'm handsome, but, because I fit a certain archetype for her. Maybe I look like her dad, or maybe, I'm just her type. And maybe she rejected me because I don't fit that archetype. And so there's a way that I'm using these frameworks to control my emotional reaction to how people are attracted to me. But in terms of how I'm terrible, I think I think there's a way that I want to make attraction. I want to make it difficult for whoever might be interested in me, because I feel like I want it to be real. So I mean, with my personality is going to, whatever I feel like is going to be frustrating for that person, I'm going to put them through it just to see to what degree are you into me. Like, and also, like, I need to get a real reaction out of you. Like, there's a sense of attraction that comes from wanting to fight somebody. And if you're attracted to someone, there needs to be some kind of an edge to it. So, just being antagonistic is a big part of my, just teasing and, maybe even purposely doing things that I know are going to be upsetting. Like, there was one time, there was a girl I was interested in, and she was just being really vague and playing hard to get. And so I knew that I just pushed to up the ante. I showed up with a friend of mine, a very tall, good looking girl. It wasn't like super intentional, but I knew the effect that it was going to have. And I didn't like go out of my way to tell her who she was, so it just seemed like, who's that girl? And so she started freaking out and asking me like who this person was. And she eventually made a move, it forced a decision. But like, that's, you have a little mini heart attack when you go through situations like that. So there are all these examples of things that I know this would be psychologically distressing in some kind of way. And I'm, sort of putting my partner through all these sort of things to force reactions out of them. And I think in a way, the way that I feel that I'm in a relationship is by, if I can get you to react, if I can get a rise out of you, then I know that I still have a thing with you, which isn't going to be pleasant for people.
So is that 8 or is that sexual?
It's both.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 8, and just that in a relationship, I think my forcefulness is setting the terms. You're gonna have to be reacting to me. So on some level, like, I'm provoking you, and I'm doing things that are just gonna, it's not gonna be chill. So like that, what's terrible about me is that you're gonna have to be affected on an unpredictable basis. And if you're attracted to me, though, it's all part of it. But if you don't like me, you're going to run.
I think it's also probably worth noting that I'm sure Emeka that you're doing a lot of this like knowing you're being provocative, but
Oh
I
yeah.
think that a lot of eights doing similar stuff probably don't have the conscious intention to be provocative, but they nonetheless are.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like,
And I know that even when I'm not trying to be provocative, that it's just gonna happen anyway. Like I'm aware that this is something I'm doing, but I also know that even if I don't try to do it, that it's just my personality is gonna do it anyway.
I think the
Um,
most like frustrating, not just in terms of dating or anything like that, but just in terms of dealing with eights is like when they're willing to own and be conscious of their provocations and their quality of being provocative versus like not like kind of disowning it or being like, no, I'm not, trying to
I'm not
provoke
doing
anything. It's like that's
that.
just fucking bullshit. Like everybody knows it, but I don't know. They let themselves fly under the radar.
Mhm.
oh yeah. That's definitely like the gaslighting aspect of what eights can do. Is I'll take a hammer and I'll smash you over the face with it, and I'll tell you that I that didn't happen at all.
Yeah, totally.
There wasn't intention to hurt you, and then I hurt you again, and it's like that's not what I meant to do.
Mhm.
You're just being too sensitive. Get over it.
Right.
I feel like when I've dated eights or fucked around with eights, it's like you get into arguments and you don't even know how you got there, but
Yep.
both of you are just angry and you're just like, what are we even mad about the entire time? And it's
Yeah.
exhausting.
Escalation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Just getting into fights. I think you're not in a relationship with an eight unless you're, often in some kind of conflict. And it's not even necessarily that the conflict is serious. It's just that's just the eight style. There's going to be some combativeness there, and if you're not comfortable with that, it's just I guess it's a lot to deal with because I mean, as an eight, like I don't feel like it's anything to get into an argument every day. Like it's not a big deal. I mean, not as long as it's not like
Mhm.
super serious argument, but like arguing about stuff isn't. I could do that all the time, and it wouldn't be a big deal. But so I could
Mhm.
see how a partner who might be softer or whatever might just be exhausted by that kind of shit.
And it's also not like all eights are just like going to argue.
Right.
Again, it's like I think Emeka, you with the social blind are just like, yeah, I'm trying to argue or whatever. Whereas I think it's really common for eights with higher social instinct to not see themselves as doing
Yes.
exactly the same thing and having
Exactly.
better intentions, so to speak.
Hmm.
I'm just trying to work it out, or I'm just trying to, we're just trying to relate or trying to, solve the problem. And it's like, this is not the solution. It's like bringing way too much to it.
Bringing way too much. That I guess that's the worst thing about eights is like
Yeah.
bringing way too much fucking energy
Yeah.
to like you need maybe 25% of energy and eight is like bringing 150% energy to a conversation. It's just a fucking conversation, and all of a sudden you're yelling. But there it's not like it doesn't seem like yelling to them, but it's like their volume is so fucking loud that
Yeah.
everyone just like shit like. And that's the other thing I think people hate about eights is that the eight escalates can escalate at any point and bring so much energy that if you're not willing to match the energy that the eight is bringing, and even me as an eight, if I'm dealing with other eights, sometimes an eight is bringing energy and I don't feel like going to meet them with that energy. I'm just like, I'm not doing it. Because every time an eight escalates, you have to meet them with the same amount of energy or they're just going to run you over.
Well, unless you're a
Mhm.
9, okay? Unless you're a 9, and then what you get to do is be a cloud that their hand passes through, right? As they're swinging hard, right?
Fucking true.
Yeah. So yeah, that's been so 9 wins kind of on that deal.
Oh, yeah.
9, yeah. 9 is
Nine
like
always
a
wins.
secret weapon in rock, paper, scissors that nobody knows about.
That's
except
it. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a fourth weapon.
Yeah, exactly. But only 9s can use it,
Yeah,
and
it's
it
just
beats
being a 9.
everything.
Being a 9 is rock paper scissors. Being a 9.
It's like
Yeah.
it's like no matter how much energy you bring to a nine, it's almost like they haven't changed their equilibrium. Like their tone hasn't
Yeah.
changed. Sometimes it's like as an eight, like you start like amplifying and escalating. Other people feel like they have to, even if they don't meet you at the same level, they're gonna escalate as well. Their volume's gonna go up or they're gonna be more amped up. Nines don't do that.
Yeah.
The same energy feel like you're not getting any effect, and that's probably the most frustrating thing as an 8 is like I'm not getting a rise out of you, and yeah, you just have to give up.
When before we go continue roasting nines, the what I'd say is, so like, I have a Sienna, close friend, like, who I dearly love. And when we were in high school, we became friends and met and stuff. And her eightness was obviously more amped from a high school kid, and then my fourness was obviously more out of control from being a high school kid. And so remember, like, I could hardly manage my withdrawn energy, and we spent a day hanging out. And at the end of hanging out with Sienna, and again, it's not personal. I totally love her, and I loved her at the time. All that kind of stuff. I was so exhausted, and I remember, like, I was on my friend's like, deck, and I had a hoodie on, and I was sitting, and I kind of like bent my head down, so, like, like, as if, like, instead of sitting up straight, my head was like almost, my chin was like basically on my chest, and I was in this like total shutdown mode. And I remember Santa being like, "John, what's wrong?" And she put her head like between where my legs are and my head was, like, and her big, huge eyes like staring at me. And she's got like, for, people have never seen her, she's got like enormous eyes and a huge smile, and just all this bursting energy.
She looks like
And
a cartoon character.
yeah, yeah. And so we laugh about this stuff now, but at the time it was like, I was like, I'm gonna fucking die, because it was just, just
The
trying
wrong
to
thing.
connect. Yeah, it was like connect with somebody who's like, I'm not connected to myself. So it was really funny.
Yeah, like the problem with 8s, I'm sure everyone around me feels that to some degree, is like when in doubt, escalate. That's
Yeah.
it's like if you don't know what to do, just turn it up.
Yeah, like what Sienna was doing there was not like trying to provoke or stir shit up, but she was
Right.
escalating.
Yeah,
Just like
yeah.
natural, expansive energy, and it was very innocent and very loving and
Mhm.
well intended. But it was just, the
It's
eightness
like,
couldn't
"Please
read the
shut up."
4-5ness, and couldn't just be like, oh, maybe he needs a little space. It was like, oh, I'm gonna get right up in there.
Yeah. That's one thing I don't like about my personality is that I mean I can be chill most of the time, but like when I'm into something, my personality like automatically just turns up, and it
Mhm.
inevitably becomes too much for it's just going to be too much at some point.
Mhm.
Like, and I can pull back, but like it's always kind of redlining. It's going to redline, and then people have to back up and like whoa. Um, and so that's just how it goes, and I know that without trying, that's going to happen, and I'm going to end up not scaring people, but just like people are going to have to like take some kind of energetic step back, or have to account for the fact that I'm escalating.
I mean, I think that's like a unconscious strategy of eight, is to tempt people to leave by being too much.
Mm.
It's like being a rejection type. It's like uh
Are you gonna reject me?
yeah, like setting people up to reject them.
Yeah. And maybe that's what it is. It's like, how much do you really love me?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm gonna make you suffer, and we're gonna find out how much you can. And then part of it also, it's kind of like, well, I guess I can relax now because you're not gonna reject me for me just being myself, even though I've kind of put you through the ringer here. There is something essential about the way that you want to be with me, and I can sort of like stop doing this shit, and stop being provocative. I can just sort of relax.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's shit on some nines.
Why would you do that?
Because they're the worst.
I think that's maybe all we do in this podcast.
Yeah, guarantee
Oh man.
that if you tune in, your nine will be abused. Just
Where do I begin? I mean, we could start with
Right.
the ghosting.
Ghosting, big time. Yeah.
The ghosting's huge. It's like
Oh, yeah.
I have been sent out. A 9 has set multiple times. This has happened. A 9 has set up a date. They, hit me up and said, meet me here, and then show up, and there's no one there. There's no one responding, and then they reappear a month later and act like that didn't happen. So many
Yeah.
times, or even just ghosting within the relationship,
yeah.
going along and for
I
months
was
and
gonna,
months,
yeah.
Mhm.
and saying, I'm totally into this and totally into this, and then one day out of the blue, done,
Yep. That's like
dropped.
every single, except for the 9 I'm with right now. Fucking 9 I've ever dated. They're like, no, this is great. This is wonderful. But you know what? I'm going to go join the army. Don't wait. I'm going to move to Europe. Yeah, don't worry about it. Just bye. Like, literally, both of those happened.
Ow.
They're just
God.
like, oh, by the way, I'm leaving for Europe.
No big deal. Nothing matters. It
Right?
doesn't
And it's
matter.
like, wait, so are you coming back? Well, don't worry about it. Just don't worry. It's fine.
Just keep
You wanna
everything
hang out
calm
tonight?
right now. Just for
Right.
now, let's be calm.
I'll Zoom call you when I get there. Wait, but what?
I could imagine also like, oh, we're gonna go out, but oh, I'm too sleepy to go out.
Oh yeah, that's a big one. My head
Mm.
hurts.
Mm,
I sprained my ankle. I ate too big of a lunch. You know,
I get that a lot with my current 9.
I'm really busy breathing. Okay.
Taking up all of my energy.
Jesus
I have
Christ.
suggested so many date opportunities with my boyfriend, and he'll just be like, "Nah, not tonight." Why? Well, I don't know. Just not tonight. Okay.
Oh man,
David, what's the greatest thing about dating you?
he means the worst.
Probably the sex.
Yeah. I don't
No,
think I've ever had bad sex with another, to be honest.
What's good about it? I have no idea.
What's really bad?
I ghost people.
Yeah.
I'm pretty bad about just energy output and sort of watching my energy output, especially because I'm self-pres dominant, right? Combined with 9. So it's like, I'm like, if I just feel 10%, down in my energy, that might be good cause to cancel something. You know what I mean?
Are you like overly stuck to your habits? Like I can't do anything because I'm biking for 20,000 miles
Hours.
today.
I haven't had my peanut butter and
Yeah.
banana.
Yeah. No, there's
So-
some stuff. Yeah, that could be like, hey, you're in the way of this food thing that I already planned.
So if you could just stop that, that'd be great.
Yeah, or just like you're suggesting that we do something in this time frame where I was going to do this thing alone with me and my food, and watch this thing on Netflix or something at the same time. I had this whole thing I planned, right? So even though you're fun and happy and exciting, I'm going to need you to wait an hour and a half, and you even want to have sex with me. Well, I still need to do this thing.
Hmm.
That kind of stuff.
One of the most frustrating things is the concealing information.
Mm,
Yeah, I mean it's not lying, but it's kind of like,
yep.
I'm just not gonna tell you this thing that would be pertinent to know now versus a couple months from
That's a
from
good one.
now.
And somehow conveniently forgetting that information until it's pertinent.
Yeah, it's like, oh
Like,
yeah,
oh, I forgot.
I have a wife and kids.
I forgot I'm moving to Europe.
Did I forget to tell you?
I'm not bitter about this at all, by the way, guys.
I'm flying out next week. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to tell you. Oh man.
It's a
No.
weird deal too, because you're in a romantic situation. That's a high intensity mattering space, right? Like you're the target of the other person's interest, right? In a
Yes.
significant way. And 9s, that's really difficult energy for a 9 to hold. Like, you exist, Mr. 9, right at this exact point in space and time, right? And so that kind of thing of forgetting, I mean, and sort of not defining what's happening, and stuff not mattering. There's this important thing I should tell them, but kind of it doesn't, I don't know, I don't quite have the energy to tell them, and it doesn't matter that much. It's just about me, and I don't matter much.
Yep.
And so, could it really be that bad? Is it going to be really that much of a punch in the face when they find out about that bad big thing or whatever? Because
But
it's
it's
just
only
me.
about me, so it
Yeah,
doesn't
it's only about
matter.
me. Right. Yeah.
Not sharing information when it's just about you.
Yeah.
That's, I think, the most irritating.
All right.
Moving on to ones.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I have only been with one, so I'm only talking about one person. You know, ones you're going to criticize and judge and be nitpicky, and the romantic partner is going to get the brunt end of the stick of that. And so the worst part about being with the dating a type one is you got to put up with a lot of judgment, and it is never ending. And it's usually a lot of times it's about shit that they don't even know what they're talking about. It's like they are going to be judgmental as fuck about you know, just because that's just what's going on in their body. Like, no, that's not right. And
Mhm.
they're gonna, and even before they even fully understand. And so the worst part about dealing with being in a relationship with type one is you're gonna have to put up with a lot of criticism and a lot of judgment, and you're gonna have to not, take it personal.
And I think they will make decisions or like say something's wrong or right without knowing anything about it. Like they
Yep.
just talk out of their ass.
Yep.
Yeah. And it's just
Mhm.
like, but how do you know that? And they're like, well, I don't. And it's like, then why did you answer
Yep.
that?
That's probably the most frustrating thing is like I know you don't know what you're talking about, but you're just going hard in the paint. You're going hard in the paint on this judgmental tirade, and you know that they're not right. So
Mhm.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. That's all we have to say about ones. They just suck.
no, I got more.
I'm just
I got more.
Yeah, let's go.
The other one is physically, ones are very rigid. I mean, it is a physical manifestation of a steel rod. The rigidity is a real thing.
I like rigidity in one specific part of their body.
Dealing with this sort of rigid tension that comes with that. You're trying to like get a type one to loosen up, and
Mhm.
it's a real palpable thing that shows up in the body, and that's really interesting to me how these sort of personality structures show up, manifest in the physical structure.
Yeah, I made a meme, like, just I guess 2 days ago, as a joke. It was that one,
Oh yeah.
that's been going around about, like my parents at age 29, and it's like got that kind of some of that old
Oh
like
yeah.
incel kind of like Chad shit or
Right, right,
whatever,
right.
like kind of also Nordic guy. And he's like, yeah, let's have a baby. Yes. And then it's like me at 28, and so I wrote, I wonder what it'd be like to bang a type one without self control. I bet they'd be closet freaks. And follow our meme page, Big Hormone on Instagram. But I was like, funny joke post, and I was like, but I wonder.
Yeah.
So, are they able to, like, for those of us who've been with ones, are they able to kind of be freaks
Yeah,
in your
I mean,
experience?
I think it's possible, but I mean, you're still dealing with it's a pretty high hurdle. I mean, I think
Yeah,
sometimes when we imagine a closet freak, I think sometimes we imagine like a librarian archetype of someone who seems shy, but
yeah,
really they're wild.
yeah.
And the thing about one is that rigidity doesn't go away.
Mm, mm,
It's there. It's there. Not to say that a one wouldn't be freaky in the bedroom, but you're still going to feel that sense of rigidity when your body is next to this person. Like
in mid
there is,
freak.
yeah, like there is still
Mhm.
a sense of sort of rigidity around what I can do and what I can't do. But like drugs can really loosen things up. But like we talked about dancing as a way to kind of gauge
Mm,
chemistry on a physical level, and you can feel that rigidity dancing with the type one in terms of like what am I supposed to do and trying to orient to a certain type of standards. And you start to physically feel that personality structure when you start doing things physically with the one, and you're going to feel the rigidity even if a type one is being freaky.
so how would you contrast like 8 energy versus 1 rigidity? Like, is it because you like, I mean, like, just doing breath work with you, you have like a armored quality,
Uh-huh.
like how would you contrast like that with rigidity?
the 8 versus 1 energy, she felt more like she was used to, like, when the first time we danced, like I could feel like her wanting to control things, but then she sort of realized like he's really solid, and he's really relaxed at the same time. I can,
Mm.
relax in this energy. So like this combination of, sort of solid forcefulness that's also kind of relaxed, because I think the eight body center, or the eight body style, is forceful, but it's also loose and it's chaotic. It feels like anything can happen here. It's unpredictable, but it's also solid and grounded.
Mm.
And so that's very opposite to
Mhm.
the control and the sort of rigid, upright control of one. So I felt like the influence that I had on her was that she had like a backdrop that she could relax into, that to know that, he's going to catch me. Like he's got his own chaotic way, but in this sort of, in the sexual zone, which it is chaotic, I can sort of let go of this rigid thing a little bit.
David, did you date a one?
I didn't, but I was going to use this as an excuse to brag again about the woman that put the moves on me when I was 13.
Oh,
Hell yeah.
She was a sexual one, and just had that whole rigidity thing, but at the same time, just a strikingly attractive woman who amped up her, you know, sexual va va voom, as a sexual type. And so I guess where I was going was just that, she was really had that rigidity quality to her body, as far as her posture. Her body otherwise was kind of like an advertisement for sex, but but the fact that she was 40 years old and I was 13, so that's kind of like, there's some freakiness going on
Yeah.
there, whatever you want to call that.
Mm.
yeah,
It's a tad.
Yeah.
it's a little bit.
Although apparently, upright citizen and all of that stuff, right? As ones often portray.
All
Mhm.
that goes out the window. Oh, the thing, all that goes out the window with type ones. But the other thing I was going to mention that sucks about ones is they will set up these list of standards. These are the things
Mm.
that I'm going to be critical about with everyone else, and with myself. These are the standards I live by, and then they will just break every single one of it.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's like this.
Do
There's
as I say, not as I do.
yeah, there's a shadow thing there of I'm going to, I have all these standards, but at the same time, I secretly want to break them, or I want to be with someone who's going to give me the permission to break my own rules.
Yeah. That makes
Mm-hmm.
It's a good example of how, like, one is probably the most stern in the superego, right? In a certain way. And to the degree that it's so firm and so attempting to inhumanly block out your own, chaotic humanness, inclusive of sexuality and all of that stuff, you're creating just a huge amount of shadow when you're doing that, right? Just because of how extreme the one is in their standards. It's
Mhm.
it's sort of generating, just in a more maybe obvious way, its own opposite, kind of.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Do we want to do hard types next? Since there's two hard types on the call.
Yeah. Let's do two.
Two.
What sucks about dating a two?
Yeah. Take it away.
Let's see.
Nothing, right?
Oh, no, everything. When, in my experience, when dating a two, their giverness, it somehow you become part of them and they no longer give to you,
Hmm.
but they expect you to give to the other people as much as they're give because you're like a combination. There's like a merginess, at least with the two I was with. Probably had a 9 fix.
That's
So it's
interesting.
like or he expected you.
Yeah.
Expected you.
Who knows?
I don't know. Expected you to take on the sort of service role with him.
Well, it was more of just there was a lot less service for me.
So
Oh,
once we started dating
Mhm.
seriously. It was like,
Mm.
well, I got you now. So like I'm gonna do things sometimes, but I'm gonna expect like big returns. But like
Mm.
I'm still gonna be super like give to everyone else.
oh, interesting.
and did I understand you right that like yeah, I think maybe this is Emma's question as well, but was he asking you to like participate
Unknowingly. Yeah.
participate in
Unknown.
helping?
It was more of like a, well, we're gonna help this person do this. Even though I never really asked you, but I'm giving us as like we're
So
gonna help this person move, and but like it's there's no option. We're going to do it.
a disregard for boundaries from a
Yeah,
2?
crazy, right?
Uh-huh.
Mm.
Disregard for boundaries. Yeah, I haven't had any direct experience in dating that, but my mom is a 2, so I can imagine.
It's super fun.
The 2 that I dated, it was we just went out for a couple of months, maybe 3 months at the most, and it's kind of a situation where I think I was around 30 or early 30s, and I'd known about the Enneagram for already about 10 years, and I knew she was a 2, right? So here comes the 2 stuff, right, in my book, or you know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
it's like just uh well, also I should preface it too by saying I kind of want that stuff too, right? I mean, I don't want to go all Freudian here or whatever, but like I always had the complaint with my mother, even as a child, that she kind of, I mean, it boils down to that she wasn't 2-ish, right? She wasn't the sort of feminine, mothery type. My mom was a 1. And my mom was actually reacting against her own mother, who was a 2. So my mom was making sure not to be a 2, kind of. And so I was specifically kind of like missing some of the juicy Oedipal stuff, which is why I attracted these women in my childhood that I was kind of seduced, boy, because it's weird, but I was actually pretty conscious of kind of wanting that and wanting to seduce that kind of certain, Oedipal romantic-ish mother juiciness. Anyway, so knowing this woman was a 2 that I dated, in my early 30s, I was open to it, you know, being, Shangri-La or whatever. But at the same time, I was in a band at that time, and I think I was probably at the same time conflicted with the sort of boys club kind of thing of being in a band and doing this thing that the chicks aren't invited into the in group, and you don't get pussy whooped and all that kind of stuff. And a 2 is going to be a master at the pussy whoop.
Let's see what.
And so I was kind of keeping my distance, and I probably wasn't all that attracted to her as well. That's where it could have gotten more dangerous, in the sense of sort of slipping into something that would have been more like a deeper mother possession sexual combo platter kind of thing. Anyway, so I was kind of like telling her, you're a 2, and I'm not going to let you do that 2 thing. I mean, not literally, but almost literally, because I was showing her the Enneagram and stuff and saying, you're a 2. And so it's one of those, it's a weird deal where the Enneagram kind of was way into the relationship, it's kind of
Mm.
funny. Anyway,
Interesting.
so yeah.
There's also 2s have a hard time taking care of themselves.
Mm.
In
Oh,
case y'all
yeah.
didn't know. So there's a lot of that.
Like, we mean like you got to
Uh,
take care of him?
No, well, no, because I don't take care of people very well. If I'm not absolutely head over heels in love with you, I'm not going to give a shit. But there's a lot of like, oh well, I don't like how I look right now. Oh, okay, well you could work out. No,
Mm.
no, I'm not gonna do that because that takes too much time and I don't want to. But I'm just gonna be sad about it.
Interesting.
There's a lot of mopiness.
There's some martyr thing that they
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
Yeah, this is not a dating whatever. My mom definitely has a lot of that, where
Mhm.
she creates these problems. You help her with the problem, and she recreates the problem again. And I'm just like, I'm not doing that twice. We did it before, and you should have kept up the stuff that you were supposed to do. And she's like, well, you're gonna help me, right? Like, you're gonna help me fix this thing. Like, we had a rat problem in my mom's garage back at the house last winter. And you see, you generally, if you see droppings in your house, mice droppings, you fucking put some traps to get it. But she let that happen for months, and eventually it seemed like a fucking colony of these things were just fucking in the garage. Like, there's like at least 15 of these fuckers. You go on because if you see a mice running around, because they try to stay away from people as much as possible, which means there's enough of them that there's
They
not
can't
enough
stay away.
food. Yeah, there's not enough food that they have to go out when people are around. So my uncle was around, and he probably killed like 7 of them things with this, like, the simple rat trap. And so it took like months to get rid of all of them. And then I go home for Thanksgiving, and there's fucking droplets back in the garage. And I was like, you know what? I know that, you're a charitable person, and you're trying to give a home to these fucking things. You make a home for these guys. They came back for the winter, and you're like, oh, cool. You guys can hang out, put the food back in the garage, and let these fucking mice feed. And then she's like, you're gonna help me, right? You're gonna help me get rid of these things. And I'm like, no, the fuck I'm not. Like, it's this disgusting. It's fucking disgusting to know that there's like 15 fucking mice in a
Yeah.
garage, just like hanging out in the corner somewhere. Like, I'm not going through that. So I was like, no, I'm not helping you. And so she's like, no, 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 you're gonna. So there's this thing with twos where they can just throw their hands up in the air and just expect that somebody's gonna sweep in and take care of them. I can imagine in a relationship or dating that would be fucking annoying.
Yes.
All right, ready to shit on some threes?
Oh yeah. Let's shit on
Let's
some
do it.
threes.
Oh man, I got stuff.
Do it. Do
Do
it.
it.
I want to know what's awful about me so I can worry
Oh
about it in my
gosh.
relationship and just spiral.
Well, where do I begin? I feel like of course, people talk about threes being fake, and it's not entirely accurate, but it is a thing. It is a thing that, and it's not quite being fake. It's the sense that who I am is an image, and I need to frame it, and I need to present it to you. And in that process of presenting to you an image, I have to dress it up. And so there's always going to be some gap between, as an 8, as a reactive type, the realness of what's going on versus how it's presented. And that is where the sort of, I don't want to say fake, but like there's some artifice involved or some embellishment involved. um like, you pick up a Hallmark card, and then someone says, like, you frame a certain sentiment in a certain way to amplify certain things. And to me, I'm looking at that as like, that's not real. I mean, but you're trying to evoke a certain kind of an emotion in somebody. And so the thing about threes that I don't like as a reactive type is that, they're selling me on stuff. Like, that's what it feels like. You're presenting things a certain way. You're not revealing certain aspects of yourself. You're framing certain situations a certain way. And I have to sort of figure out, like, what's actually going on, like the gap between what you're telling me and what's really going on. As far as a reactive type, I want to know the negative. I want to know the full story, the full picture, and the worst and the best parts. But like, that's the part that feels artificial, is that I know that there is a framing and, a way that, 3 is going to be presenting themselves to me that doesn't feel, it doesn't feel free in the moment. It feels like I need to, one, pay attention to your reaction to me. I need to see how you're reacting and reading what I'm saying, and then I'm going to read you and try to figure out how to frame things in a way that's going to land with you, that's going to appeal to you. So I start to pick up on that sense of threes start to affect me and sort of rub off on me in terms of how much they're tracking me and how much that you're trying to maybe impress me. And I start to do that to some degree. And I don't like that.
How's that hit, Nancy?
That's pretty. Yep. It's taken me a really. I'm almost 3 years into this relationship, and I just started telling Brian what I actually wanted, like 2 months ago.
What do you mean by that? What is like what?
Well, I mean, I don't
Like what do you actually want for dinner, or what you want in life, or what?
know when I want to fuck.
Okay. So
You
that
wouldn't
is
tell
that,
him?
Hmm?
You wouldn't normally tell him when you want to?
Mm-mm.
You want him to know, like psychically?
Yes. Yes. Yes, because
what's threatening about saying that? I mean, or revealing that, or
I don't know. There's something about like so with there's an aesthetic that it kind of ruins.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Like
Sure.
I want there to be this sexy aesthetic where like we start touching and like things happen and all of a sudden we're fucking. Whoops. But like you can't do that if you're like want to have sex.
Yeah, this image orientation aspect, I really feel that
Mm-hmm.
with threes, and that anything that I say and do in relation to them is being framed and looked at,
Mm-hmm.
and the I become more self-conscious around threes because they're making me very aware that they're
Yeah.
tracking everything that I'm doing and I'm saying, and I know that it's almost like, let's say we're fucking, they're being fucked, but they're also watching us fucking. Like, it's like they're in the scene and they're also the camera person.
Yeah.
No, I like for a long time in a lot of sexual encounters in my life would be like, I wonder how this looks like from that angle, or I wonder how it would look like from the ceiling, or if I put a camera over there. Like that's when I'm not as into it, but you know what I mean.
I dated a three for about. I think I've only dated one three for about 6 months. This is probably 20 years ago, and she was an actress. So you talk
Yeah.
about wondering what it looks like from different angles.
Mm.
So, and she had the problem of being non-orgasmic,
Oh
which
man.
was
Oh
just like,
no.
oh man, it's just like. So I
Oh.
think it was a control thing, though, right? It was like one of those, it was a psychological, emotional thing,
Mhm.
right? Of sort of not wanting to lose control.
Mhm.
And she didn't even kind of want to work on it much. Like I was willing to go to town on her and do whatever, right?
Well, no,
Because I
because then that puts pressure, and there's like a lot. If you lose control, what if it
Performance.
looks? Yeah.
yeah. But so she was non-orgasmic, but she was literally acting while we were fucking, right?
Oh
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
yeah. Oh
Yeah.
man,
she
that's
was
a big one.
like the moaning and the it was, and I told her one time, it seems like you're acting, and she's
Yep.
and then she went into an act about it not being an act, right? So
Oh man.
I did have one guy tell me to stop doing that, and that was really sexy. That was hot.
yeah.
That
Yeah.
is the first three relationship or thing that I was in. That was a very overt aspect of. I never said anything about it. I just accepted this is what it was gonna be like. But like you watch porn and there's the over exaggerated porn stars
Yes,
that are
I
not
hate that.
actually enjoying the
Yep.
scene. They have a routine, mowing. Oh yeah, get with me, daddy.
Yep.
Yeah, just all that bullshit. And just to hear someone who's watched a lot of porn, who's mimicking the thing that she believes that men want to hear. I don't know if threes think that people can't tell that it's being put on, but it's like it's so obviously being put on. It'd be one thing if that's the way you actually sounded and that was your And then we're all guilty of this to some degree, like,
Sure.
but it's really overt that, threes can be really good at putting on something like that.
One time it was the hottest between us too was we had we went to see the movie Basic Instinct.
Ooh.
Uh
Sharon Stone.
and yeah, Sharon Stone
Back in
flashing her paper.
1939.
Yeah, and back in the 1920s. And
Were you even
and,
born then?
I was already 90 years old. I live forever.
Yeah, he is the universe.
I mean, Nancy wasn't born when Basic Instinct came out, was she?
Probably not. Yeah,
when
that's
was
true.
it made? I don't know.
80s probably.
80s
No,
probably.
yeah, 95.
Anyway, we watched that movie and she was getting all sexy with me in the movie, but it was obvious that it was, it was the aesthetic of what that would look like to be in a dark movie theater,
Mm-hmm.
being sexy with each other, watching a sexy movie. And then when we got back to my place, there was sort of some role play-ish stuff that she was doing, encouraging. And that was like the hottest sex that we had was that, and inspired by, again, images, right, of coming off of a movie. So it's
Mhm.
interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah.
My first like real girlfriend was 7, and we ended up being long distance in high school, and I was friends with the 3 who was into me, and I didn't really know, like, I was not really. I always assumed that women are not interested in me, and
You?
she
Really?
was.
Shocking.
Yeah. And I'm like, I am this repulsive void beast, and but whatever. So anyway, so this 3 that had been friends of mine, and we'd been hanging out, and we'd had like a flirty friendship and stuff, but found out that she'd been online chatting with my 7 to be like, well, you guys are long distance now, like, you're not happy, he's not happy, kind of manipulating the situation. This girl's a sexual 3 also, and was encouraging my 7 to break up with me, and so she did. 7 kind of getting an excuse to just like
Peace out.
freedom.
to peace out. It was like, okay, we're not happy, let's go. And so I was like, in typical fashion, devastated, but I didn't know this whole behind the scenes thing for a while. And so we had like kind of like an intense, very brief thing. I kind of like flipped hard to 2 in my sadness, and but then then I was shocked and horrified when I found out what happened. But I thought that was interesting. It was like kind of manipulation behind the scenes, like get the goal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And of course I was the prize, but anyway, it was my only real experience with 3 dating.
Yeah, I've totally played that role quite a few times.
Yeah. 3s are very competitive. That's it's
If I can't have someone, that makes me want them, and then I will have them, and then I will ruin their life, and then I will leave them.
Good plan.
Yeah, it's very fun.
Yeah, I mean that's the other thing I forgot to mention. Just that, I guess maybe you can say this about the assertive types, but the 3s can be pretty emotionally, even though I've said 3s can be highly emotional, they also have a switch that can just go cold, and it's about just getting the thing done. And there's a way that just you can sort of block off and completely cut off the heart. And so it's a paradox if this is someone who is emotional and is somewhat in touch with their emotions, but at the same time can just be object oriented and is about getting it done. And so, I mean, that's the other aspect of 3s, that it's just highly competitive and has the capacity to go cold and just
And be a
focus
robot.
on it. Yep.
Yeah. So it's a comfort zone too. Sometimes being a robot just feels really nice.